Nick Walthall, David Tuckman here for 888 Poker. It's Magic Monday, folks. That's right.
Oh, here we go. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, look at these hands.
Kings are good. We are heads up. The double elimination. I love double KOs. Whoa.
No, he calls and it's going to be over.
I've got a keyword giveaway, Nick.
This is for another $109 ticket.
We're going to go with Madrid.
Type Madrid in chat. Type it. Wants to win.
There's a ticket. Oh, Banfield had a big one.
Oh,
Banfield.
The Jillians.
Oh, wow. What a run out.
This February, two poker giants are joining forces once again to bring you a tournament series of epic proportions.
Well, no, I'm not going to go there.
Powered by 888 Poker, the Poker News Online Championship is back with over $1 million guaranteed for the series. From the 16th to the 25th, compete in a variety of events.
This is our chip leader as we kick off the action. And guess what, Nick? We talked about an amazing 2025, right? I talked about live events that we haven't heard about yet, but I have, of course. I have inside information. You might not. But I will tell you that something that's been announced, the Poker News Festival. It's coming up, baby. $1 million guaranteed across that one.
$1 million guaranteed across the festival. Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Even better, well, you can get involved because we have tickets to give away for that festival.
Yeah, and it's the really cool one that we've run before where it's for lower buy-ins, basically. Lower buy-ins, but big tournament feel and big structures. So you can play, have some fun, and you'll be playing for big money.
Right. Less money, more prizes.
Correct.
Right. Got it. Cool. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Me too, David. Did you watch the Super Bowl, by the way?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is actually guaranteed to be significantly better than the Super Bowl.
Guaranteed. Wait 1 second. Yes, it's already better than the Super Bowl.
Right. You know the funniest thing about the Super Bowl, by the way, I've never really missed the Super Bowl. I was supposed to throw a Super Bowl party this year at our house. All that we were going to have, you know, buffalo wings and pizza and nachos and, you know, all this wonderful, wonderful stuff. Artichoke dip. Amazing Super Bowl fare. But with the fire and everything, and the fact that we can't get to our house yet, that was canceled. Okay, and we decided rather than even dealing with it, we were like, you know what? We went and saw Mufasa instead. And I got out of the movie, and it was about 4 minutes before halftime, and it's 24-0 Philly, and I'm going, well, I didn't miss anything. We went to Dave & Buster's, played video games. I saw the game in the background. Then it's 34-0, and I'm like, well, I will say, for the first time almost ever, I've actually made a good decision.
Literally didn't watch it. Amazing.
Yeah, I watched about 7 minutes of the Super Bowl, and I feel like I didn't miss a thing.
You didn't miss much. It is true.
And it might be one of the only Super Bowls I've missed. Although there was one between the Rams and the Patriots a few years ago where I was at a Super Bowl party, and it was so boring I couldn't watch it without falling asleep, so I stopped watching that one too. Remember that one? It was like 3-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was desperate, terrible.
It was so bad. Yesterday was bad on a different level.
We've had a run of good ones, so we would do a bad one, I think.
There you go. But well, listen, the Super Bowl is over. The Super Stream is on, or the Super Team is on.
That actual Alan Cunningham?
Almost definitely.
That would be wild if it was actual Alan Cunningham. Seems
I will
unlikely.
say, he plays. It's kind of funny when you look he loves the game so much, and he just looks for positive EV spots. I'm not saying that's Alan Cunningham, but I will say, like, he'll play a $500 tournament. He'll also play a $50,000 tournament. That's just who he is. He's actually incredibly witty.
Or someone that was born Alan Cunningham. Well, not born, christened Alan Cunningham, and they just didn't get to the being good at poker first. It's one of those three possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Alan Cunningham, probably not that rare a name. There's probably more than one in the world.
Okay, probably that then.
How about a set of fives here versus a pretty good draw? I mean, you got King 7 of hearts here. I mean, King 7 with the 7 of hearts. It kind of feels like a better draw than it is.
Yeah, you can almost check raise it. You kind of check raising is the bottom of your range with a bit of blockage and a bit of removal. Nothing exciting though, so you can check raise here. Don't know about check calling so much, you know.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I like to take the hands that have some equity, but not a ton. and you check raise there because if you get 3-bet, you really don't mind folding, you know? You just don't. You're like, this hand was kind of trash anyway. But I've got some equity here. I can hit a king. I can hit a heart. I can hit a straight draw. There's a lot of cards that I like. And if you check raise here and then hit that 4 hearts and continue, it's just really, really difficult for your opponent.
Okay, so this is quite sexy though, David, because we're check raising the turn instead.
It is sexy. And unfortunately, we've just run into the top of our opponent's range, who's got a set.
And now this is a huge pot, because this pot is now bigger than everybody's stack at the final table apart from 3. This is a very big pot.
Yeah, too big. Look, and he gave up.
Sasha with a very relieved check back.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting check back, though, because, I mean, I guess maybe you're thinking you can't get called by worse, but is your opponent really check raising the turn with a flush or straight and then checking the river?
Probably not, but I mean, it's hard to get called by worse there.
Yeah, good point. It is definitely harder to get called by worse. Sasha, by the way, who was already our chip leader, has just kind of pulled away from the rest of the field, now up to 4 million chips. Most of the big bounties are gone from what we gather. Slick, who finished in 41st, walked away with $10,340 in bounties. They got the big one.
Nice.
Cooler alert. Cooler alert between chip leader and...
Mentioned, David, we've seen on this stream, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, maybe?
Yeah, no, for sure. They obviously have got some skill. This is going to be an interesting spot because you've got chip leader versus player who's second in chips, and it's jacks versus kings. From an ICM perspective, you should probably want to play this hand actually quite slow. I'm just calling this, and I'm not for betting getting it in. And the flop is pretty favorable for jacks in the sense that they can get away from it now. You know, a 9 high flop, and they're going to lose a lot more chips. Are you ever check? I mean, I do not like check back a lot, but you've got top set on a king 7 deuce rainbow board.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to get paid. You do need your opponent to have pretty much exactly what they've got.
Right. Can they get
there's so few hands that you get paid on 3 streets here that I think checking the turn makes a lot of sense because it looks like a continuation bet.
Your opponent is drawing dead so often.
Yeah,
on the turn.
And like what are they get? What can they call 3 streets with? What name a hand?
Right. I mean, a flush draw didn't even come. We've got a Padugi board, and yet they have gotten called twice.
Yeah, but I think you get called twice either way. Like I don't think they get called on this river.
No, I agree.
By queens, jacks, or tens. I don't think so, but I mean,
no. And you could argue that the second bet should have gotten through. Actually, you could argue that the jack should have folded the turn. Another tiny bet here, and your opponent's getting a pretty good price. But I mean, how are you ever good here?
They're getting a terrible price.
Right. They're getting 5-1, but
like you can't name a single hand that they can have that you beat.
No, your opponent 3-bet free, bet flop, bet turn, bet river with what exactly? Like you really didn't have ace queen, and yet they got paid all 3 streets, so we know nothing.
Yeah, like
Nick.
I said, you want to bet all 3 streets there because you're almost always going to get paid. It's so obvious.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you know, it does fall back to this. And I hope this is kind of a learning thing. I mean, obviously we were saying you and I are pretty strong advocates for not slow playing. You want to build, if you want to win a big pot, you build a big pot, right? When you have a hand, bet your hand. And yet that was a situation where you and I were probably advocating for slow playing, right? We're saying it. And yet still the best way to get paid was simply just betting. I mean, if that's not evidence that you should bet your hands, folks, I don't know what is. You know what I'm just saying? It's just like that was the most obvious slow play spot ever, and yet it still worked to just bet.
Yeah,
it just screams, bet your hands, folks.
It's definitely better to have a fault that way than to not bet. That's definitely true.
That's what I mean. I mean, how many players are like checking flop, checking turn, and then like hoping their opponent gets something, and then they bet river and they bet small and they get paid, and that's it. Anyway, though, that was a pretty big hand.
It was a really big hand. I mean, Sasha Place has now got all the chips.
Yeah, I mean, I think the jacks probably need to let it go on the turn. Honestly, it's like you got 3-bet, you called the flop bet. what do we think our opponent has here? Like, are they betting queens again? Are they really going crazy with ace queen and not checking it back? What do we think? Are they looking to get involved with the player with the second most chips that aggressively? I don't know. So upset again. I mean, everybody's just going to flop sets in this final table.
Yeah, this is 3 sets out of the last sort of 6 hands, I think.
Now, by the way, this is a different situation, by the way, where I'm not slow playing the nines because the board's a little wetter and there are some overpairs your opponent could theoretically have. Your opponent could also have 10 jack, 10, 7 6, stuff like that, where I'm less likely to slow play in a situation like that than king 7 deuce rainbow.
David Tuckman, can I ask you a question? Is there a free roll that our viewers can participate in while they watch us?
Let me check the notes. I'm shocked, but there is a free roll. Yes, there is a free roll. Yeah, it starts in 19 minutes, everybody.
Do you know the password?
I do.
That's what people are asking.
It's final 888.
Okay.
Final 888. No spaces. FINAL 888. Gets you into that free roll. We're giving away $500 in cold hard cash. Go get yourself some.
Have some fun. Knock out some chumps. Tell us all about it in the chat. How is everyone in the chat? I feel like I'll be honest with you, a little bit tired and hungover. Unlike David Tuckman, I didn't watch 3 minutes of the Super Bowl. I watched it all till 4 a.m.
That's the other thing also. The Super Bowl for us starts at like 3:15 in the afternoon. I mean, it was over by 7. I just decided I was like, Mufasa, by the way, very good movie. If you haven't seen it yet, good movie. Went to Dave & Buster's. I don't know if you guys have that in the UK. It's basically an arcade sports bar. Tons of arcade games. So I played arcade games, which is fun.
Very fun. Hi, everyone. Hi, Al Polo. Hi, the Crazy Scotsman. No Money Player. What is up? Hi, Lime, our fantastic moderator as well. Christopher Roman, good to see you. I'm literally shaking. Well, I'm not literally shaking. I didn't have that much to drink. That's the screen name of someone in chat.
Oh.
Champagne Poker, how are you? Good.
This is a tough spot here. So it went check on the flop, right? Then it went bet call on the turn. And you got to start thinking, okay, what kind of hand is my opponent? Check back flop, call turn, and now bet. I don't believe diamonds are in his range, but I think Jack X is certainly in there. Ace Jack, something like that. Even King Jack could theoretically call because they would have picked up a double gutter on the turn. So it does become a lot more difficult because when your opponent calls a turn, you just think they've got something. I don't believe the diamonds, but I do certainly believe that they probably have a Jack in that spot. And a tough run out there, 7-4. You flop bottom 2, and the run out kind of forces you to fold.
Good to see you. It's the Pits. Leo Guy, Get Bougie is here. Fox Force is here. Doc Matouche. Good evening, everyone.
Wait, are these the Nick Wealthall shout-outs? I haven't actually asked for them the last few weeks.
No, I'm just saying hello.
I love it. No, this is great. People have messaged me privately wondering when they were going to come back.
Well, they're not fully back, but... Hi to Cindy Bear. 22 horse. The password is final 888. It's like literally the final that you're watching 888.
Yeah, this one's easy. There's no 01 or 010 or 10-0, nothing like that. It's just simple. Fine. There's 5 letters, 3 numbers, and you're done. You're in.
Exactly.
We also have giveaways, by the way. As always, we have for you wonderful, beautiful people. We have 5 $109 tickets. This is for the Poker News Festival. So it's a lot of fun. 5 $109 tickets. The turnouts will be fantastic. We also have the 2 $109 redemption tickets. Those are for the Wheel of Justice spin. Don't know what that is? Oh, where have you been? You've been living in a cave. The Wheel of Justice is something they're talking about. I mean, when I say they, I mean everybody. Everybody is talking about the Wheel of Justice spin, and it's going to happen at the end of our show.
Hi, Winning Kathy, Vlarank, Andy Reddick, and Chip Taker. Good to see you all. We will have some giveaways soon, as Tuck says. $109 giveaways, just in case you're new to the channel. Massive giveaways for Play on 888.
Yeah, we got a raise here. Is that Crack Friend? Because everybody needs a crack friend.
It's Fiend, but
Crack Fiend 15.
Yeah.
Everybody. Did not 3-bet with 10s and let the big blind stick around. The big blind has hit a king here. Pretty easy call spot. Might even raise. It's such a small bet I might raise this, to be honest. I know you're thinking, top pair, pretty unconventional to raise. But I think with 2 spades out there and a small bet there, I don't mind putting a small bet out, a small little raise. Crack Fiend 15, deciding, do I want to bet again? They don't have a spade in their hand, and they're going to check it back. And I think now you can bet this if you have the king 8. You don't need to bet a lot. You're looking to get called by maybe a queen, but it does go check, and I imagine it goes check, check, and it does. Small little pot. Not much going Crack Fiend's way.
No. Keeps getting dealt premium pairs that get beat. And that is not a great recipe in Hold'em.
No. As a public service announcement, and I'm not speaking for 888, I'm only speaking for myself, David Tuckman. Crack isn't good. Don't do crack. Just going to come out and say it.
Solid advice.
Yeah. No, I know I'm older, a little bit older, and I come from a different generation, the don't do drugs generation, but I think it still holds true even today, right?
Have you seen Anchorman 2?
Yeah, of course.
There's a very funny scene where he researches the crack epidemic by taking some on air.
He's a pretty
funny.
There are some funny actors, comedians in those Anchorman movies.
They're brilliant. They're very, very good.
I actually think comedy is the hardest. And it's funny at the Oscars. The person who always gets the Oscar is the person who cries and they lost somebody and they lose it on the screen. And I'm like, drama to me is actually quite easy.
Absolutely.
Comedy is so hard to make somebody laugh.
I could not agree more. Because the thing is, drama is subjective, but comedy isn't.
Spades. I think this is a spot
you're either
bet.
laughing or you're not.
Obviously the player in the small blind is going to have a lot of queens and jacks and stuff like that.
Oh, David's gone.
But I think you can bet
care
this
about comedy.
and then continue on when a spade comes off. And obviously you're just going to get some folds.
Finish the thought. Oh, he's still here. Oh, there he is.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Did you think I left?
Yeah, you totally disappeared off my screen. How funny.
It's weird. Huh.
Anyway,
I've been practicing my ninja skills.
Yeah,
I think a lot of times the ace high there, the ace of spades, a lot of players are loath to bet these queen high flops, queen jack flops because they're like, oh, my opponent might have something I have ace high. The problem with your hand is just not strong enough to kind of be a bluff catcher. So I'd rather just bet there, and I could put a lot of pressure on small pairs. Let's say somebody's in the small blind with 4s, 5s, 6s. I get those hands to fold, right? I can even get another ace high to fold as well. And when they do call me, let's say my opponent has a jack, and they call one street. If a spade comes off, I can double barrel and get them to fold then. King jack flop. Get the overbet with ace queen, the nut no pair. Did you have your Super Bowl party, you and your wife?
Yes.
Okay. I know you guys are very serious about that.
It went well. Yeah, party's a bit of an exaggeration because there's 5 of us or something, but small gathering.
Yeah, but I know you really go all out with the Super Bowl American fare, right?
We do. And also our yearly mission is to get Scott Hansen to retweet us because we've got a life-size cardboard cutout of Scott Hansen. So we do picture time with the cardboard cutout, and he still hasn't reposted us. It's very, very annoying.
How many years have you done it?
About 4.
Wow.
For some reason it's not working.
And it's not even that big a deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's not Taylor Swift, is it?
That's what I mean, right? I mean, listen, if you're the Taylor Swift cutout, that'd be tough, right? It's a tough call. But come on, Scott, step it up. Does somebody in the chat know Scott? Or know somebody who knows Scott? I feel like 6 degrees, right?
Yeah. Who knows Scott Hansen? Please let me know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was fun. We did the usual assortment of insane bets, which was very entertaining.
I like it. Oh, I don't even know. I joined as my child's youth hockey team. They were selling boxes for the Super Bowl, and I have no idea what numbers I had.
Oh, really? You don't even know if you won.
I have no idea. Yeah, whatever. Since I wasn't at the party, they probably just gave me 2 and 9.
I have no actual knowledge of this, but we might be here for a long time. This final table. I was just looking at the stack depth. There's a lot of chips in play.
There are.
I think we've got 148 big blinds, but we have no short stacks.
Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, obviously, these final table, the blinds do escalate quite quickly. It really depends how our chip leader does. If Sasha 21 place keeps the chips, this could be not short, but not that long. But if they double up some of the medium stacks, yes, we could be here for a while. Luckily, my schedule is clear for about 3 hours.
And then
I'm in trouble. If it goes more than 3 hours, we're in trouble. Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't say we're out of here, but I would say that I'm gonna have to take a quick break and just make a phone call and go. I'm gonna be late because unlike you, I know when we finish the show for you, it's night time, right?
Pretty much. It depends. So in the summer, it's a little bit late. It's an hour later, but it depends how long we go for. But yeah, obviously, it's like I don't know, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or something. So it's getting there.
Alan Cunningham, a pro, he certainly knows this is a good flop to bet if you're in position. Yeah, I mean, while your opponent's in the big blind, and they certainly could have a 6 or a 3, and you're not going to get that hand to fold, I just think that, A, you get a lot of folds when your opponent misses, and there are so many turn cards you're going to like to continue on. Obviously, Jack or Queen, any straight draws, or any of the hearts, they give you a flush draw. That's kind of, when we talk about visibility, that's something I like to look for. And you're some poker players talk about it who are a lot smarter than me, talking about hands where turn cards can come off that can give you a lot more equity. And those are good kind of continuation ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one you just flat out had a good board. I mean, backdoor straight, backdoor flush, and 2 overcards is just a pretty good flop for your hand, isn't it? As well
any 10, any 8.
There.
It's good stuff. We're actually at the slowest time right now. I mean, I know obviously, I guess with the Premiership, being a football fan, you're in good shape still, right? You got football season, still got a few months left, right?
Well, there's always football.
Yeah.
There's always
Is there an
football.
off season at all?
Well, in the summer is the off season, but then every other summer there's either the World Cup or the European Championships. So it's pretty relentless. If you're into football, and I like speaking to other football fans, our attachment to it has definitely gone down over the years because there is so much of it.
I've actually maintained this.
I think the NFL does an amazing job of that. Like the NFL season finishes and you miss it because it's so short and every game matters.
I have maintained that tennis, golf. I mean, obviously, I'm not a huge soccer football fan, but I just think have an off season, make us miss you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, listen, when I go to Madrid or Barcelona, I come back and I give my wife a chance to miss me. The fact that I missed Madrid this year it's been terrible for our marriage.
Terrible
okay?
for marriage. Yeah.
Yes, you need to miss the person. So the same thing for sports. Miss the sport.
That
baseball.
And just a little break, isn't it? Just a little break.
A little, right. I don't know, 3 months, go away. I was about to say, because it's a tough time right now. There's not much. Right now we've got, there's no football. Baseball's not in yet. Hockey's actually on a little 2-week weird break. So all we have is NBA.
Relatively quiet time for poker as well. I mean,
it is, yeah. There's just not much going on.
That's February for you, though. February is, as we've probably mentioned, because I probably have some of my hobby horses, February is a disaster.
Nick, we just got over January being terrible.
And February's the worst one. At least January, you can kid yourself that you've got a bit of reset, start of the year stuff going on, haven't you? February, it's just nothing.
Yeah, it's a good point. You've already, whatever New Year's resolution you had, that's over. Yeah, you've already failed. That's not going to happen anymore. You've realized that, like, okay, I guess I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose a stone. I'm not going to suddenly bulk up. I am who I am, and it's still cold and miserable and wet.
Still winter, exactly. No redeeming qualities, and they put Valentine's Day in the middle of it just to try and pep it up, but that just makes everybody feel more sad generally.
Oh, Valentine's Day is the worst. I mean, don't even get me started. Everybody in the chat, I want to know, do any of you actually enjoy Valentine's Day? It is the worst holiday. Honestly, the reason I fell in love with my wife, and the same reason I think she fell in love with me, was our very first Valentine's Day together. We both talked about what a stupid holiday it was. I went and bought her one red rose. I spray painted it black. Okay? I got her a 6-pack of beer. I tore a piece of paper and I wrote Happy V Day and I left it on our front porch. And she was like, yeah, you're my guy. And the fact that she appreciated that, I was like, yep, you're for me.
There you go.
And the whole I got to spend.
Ironically,
I hate Valentine's Day.
Ironically, Valentine's Day worked. It brought you to love.
No, we just realized that our hatred for this stupid holiday. Oh gosh, like the whole. It's just dumb.
It is dumb, and I think it just basically makes people feel bad. It either makes them feel the same or bad. Like if you're single and you want to meet someone, suddenly everybody's got flowers and you don't. And if you're happy, it's just another day. It should be quashed, but then we need something in February. We need something in February. We do need something in February anyway.
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know. We can figure it out. I mean, listen, somebody in the chat said here, Boxwaxer, V-Day is a marketing scam. Obviously, it's a Hallmark holiday, I call it.
That's fine. They all are. That's fine.
Flush draw here versus top pair could get a little bit of action, especially with a short stack in the short-ish stack in the big blind with a flush draw.
The problem is that it's a marketing scam that isn't a ton of fun. That's the problem. Because I mean, Christmas is a marketing scam.
Oh, 100%.
But it's a ton of fun.
I just think, well, like you're right. With Valentine's Day, it's just, and then the pressure. Like if you do have a significant other.
Poker alert, David.
Yeah, I mentioned that already. That was like 30 seconds ago. I said this.
Well, it's still going on.
It is. We got a bet. It's not surprising. I would not raise this, by the way. This second barrel and this sizing, I'm not convinced I'm going to get folds if I shove. And if I shove this, I'm obviously way behind if I get called. I'm just calling this and trying to hit. I'm just not deep enough, I think, to get a jack to fold or an overpair to fold. And if I don't get those pairs to fold, then what am I doing? Right?
Right.
I'd rather just call, see if I can hit, and go from there. I mean, I guess it's probably a world where you can even fold it. And there he hits. I mean, it's a really, really smart call. Like I said, I don't think you're deep enough to get the king jack to fold. The pot was just too big at that point.
Now you got to wait. You got to time bank this, and like make it look like you've missed your flush. No, it doesn't matter. Big, nice pot for Montiero.
Yeah, Montiero, by the way, had gone down. Montiero was up to 50 big blinds, and was down to about 24. But a full double up there, and that's why you do it. And for those people who are thinking, well, you're not going to get paid if you hit. You might still get paid, and that person did right there. Anyway, back to my hatred of Valentine's Day. This is the last part that I'll say, and I'll leave it alone. Okay, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a significant other. You feel terrible because everybody else is getting flowers. And then how about the poor people who are like, they don't have the money or they just forgot, and now they feel like just absolute trash because they've come home and they haven't brought anything.
And the people, that's bad. The people that have lost partners, either through breakup or death. It's a terrible business.
I had a friend, by the way. Who, and I told him, I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, he wanted to break up with his girlfriend, and he decided he's like, "I'll stay with her through Valentine's Day and then I'll break up." I go, "What's the point of that?"
That's absolutely
stupidest
classic.
thing ever.
That is classic. That's so
he's like,
bad.
"Well, I don't want to break up with her right before Valentine's Day."
That's so bad. Terrible. We should probably give away some tickets.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. You are only eligible if you hate Valentine's Day.
That's not correct. You can have any feeling you like about Valentine's Day. You're still eligible. Don't let David's black rose poison infect your brain.
Fair enough. Okay. I've got a question for you.
Oh, brilliant. Well done. I'll just quickly do the rules.
You do that.
2 tickets up for grabs. $109 tickets to play on 888. Huge tickets to play in the Poker News opening event of the Championships Series. You would love to play in that event. It's going to be a big one. We'd love you to play. So Dave's going to ask me a question. I'm going to guess the answer. I'm going to do my best to guess the correct answer. And whatever I say is what you're aiming to get, not what's on Google. So 1 guess per player. If you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, you can play on either platform, but you can only play once. Don't be that guy or girl. Don't try and game the system. No one likes to game the systemer.
No, and Lime is on top of it, by the way. Lime is on top of it, and she rules the chat with an iron fist.
She will boot you. She will ban you. She will slap you.
Bam.
What's the question, David?
I've got a question for you, everybody. The answer is going to be a year. So the thing is, you've got to be the closest to the year that Nick Wealthall guesses, or, well, either two winners here. So there you go. Nick, since it is coming up and since we've been talking about it, what year did the stupidest holiday, Valentine's Day, start? What was the year Valentine's Day actually started? According to Nick Wealthall, of course, Google will not help you in this regard. And my guess is that Nick Wealthall has really no idea. But he is going to do his best. We always try our best to get the answer right. Nick's going to try to get his answer right. And what year does Nick Wealthall think Valentine's Day would have begun? Was it 1712?
Somebody said it was
1382?
Somebody said it was a Hallmark holiday, and I don't think that's right because I think it's much older than that. But I don't know how old.
You're staring at Valentine's Day. You're like, oh, I don't know.
Do you know the idea of romantic love? All in a call.
Yep, all in a call. The Ace-4 is at risk. The 9 will play in the spot, and it does play. Both players with pair of 6s, a 10, an ace, and the 9 plays. And our chip leader, back up to 116 big blinds, is going to pick up a bounty here. Crack Fiend 15 is worth $140. Crack Fiend, by the way, who came into this final table third in chips, picked up $310 in bounties, another $905 for 8th place, and they walk out with $1,215, and we're down to 7. Yeah, romance goes way, way back. It's just a question of when they decide that Valentine's Day started.
Yeah, it goes back to people romance falling in love with someone, but it doesn't actually go way back if you think about romance as a reason to marry someone. Romance as a reason to marry someone is quite a young idea. And I'm trying to remember when it started to be a thing, because marriage had nothing to do with romantic love.
And by the way, I want to second that as well. That's another thing. I think we should go back to the fact when marriage had nothing to do with romance.
Let's start talking about chattel and dowries again.
I'm just going to come out and say, yeah, let's talk about
alliances. That. Come on.
Nick Wealthall, David Zuckman. Where else do you get to talk about this and watch poker and maybe, just maybe, win a ticket, right? And you can win money here.
Magic Mondays can bring this level of magic into your life.
This is an interesting flop, actually. It'll be tough for Montiero 23 to get away from the 5s, at least on one bet. I'm definitely betting if I have ace-jack. I mean, you essentially have the nuts here. When the player in the small blind calls, they very rarely will have a 3 in their range. So you're getting called by 6s, 5s, 7s, any weaker jack. You might even get called by a hand as strong as like ace-10 that has like ace-10 of hearts, say. Backdoor draw. You might even get raised here. Yep, there it is. There's a check raise. Problem with this check raise, of course, is, and I don't hate it, but the problem with this check raise, of course, is what do you do when you get called? When an overbet makes this call.
It's a bit of, I think we talked about this on a recent stream, but it's a bit of an, oh, wow, 3-bet, which I don't quite understand, because you are going to make them play absolutely perfectly and you're not protecting against anything. And that was a bit of a funny one.
Yeah, when we play poker, it's kind of the same as like tennis. We want to force our opponent to make unforced errors. And when you put your opponent in a spot where you almost force them to play perfectly, That's not what we want to do. We want to make the game hard for our opponents, not easy. So I tend to agree. 9's raised, 9 take it. Is your answer in, by the way? I assume.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's fair to say I have no idea, but I've still tried to answer.
I'm curious here. When did Valentine's Day start according to Google? Wow, how's this? Valentine's Day is thought to have originated in the 5th century when Pope Gelasius replaced the Roman festival.
I can't give anything away. They're still guessing.
Lupercalia with the celebration of St. Valentine. However, the true origins of the holiday are unclear.
Okay, the contest is closed. When did you say? 500 something?
At the end of the 5th century, but then here, but then wait, hold on. But then it says something here, something that you're replacing it with St. Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day did not come to be celebrated as a day of romance until about the 14th century. So there's some the origination of it is back in the 5th century AD, but it didn't become a day of romance until the 14th century. So the funny thing is I said like 1712, and then I think I said 1382. My 1382 guess wouldn't have been that awful.
Actually wouldn't.
It certainly predated Hallmark, according to Google, by the way.
Yes, predated Hallmark.
We could get an all in here, by the way. We got to raise, play the big blind, because we get a call here.
Father's Day is the Hallmark invention, isn't it? I think.
Oh,
I think they invented Father's
How
Day.
about Teacher's Day? Like appreciate your teacher day? Oh my God.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
What about appreciate your poker commentator day? When's that? Every
Exactly.
Monday, if you want a ticket.
Would you get the all in? I think the jacks probably are a call here. We'll see. Just not deep enough to fold jacks. It's only It's only 18 big blinds more. There's a little bit more in the pot. I just don't think I can find the fold here with jacks. Nope, they're going to go all in. Ace 4 out of the way, and we know one of the aces is dead.
Alan Cunningham, celebrity poker player. That's how you get to be Alan Cunningham and win your 5 bracelets. Think a queen on the river.
Yep. Ace or a queen on the river was going to do it, and Alan Cunningham. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. If he's not, he certainly should be. I don't think he is, and he should be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
How many bracelets does he have? Let's have a look.
He's got like 6.
Plus he's 5, but
plus he's a November 9er.
5, yeah.
5, nice call. Wow, look at you.
Good guess. Over 11 million in earnings.
I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame is it's a weird thing because only one player gets in a year. Again, it's Ace Queen versus Jacks, and again, Jacks go up in flames.
The third time that they've gone up in flames on this feature table.
Lon McCarron somewhere, the amazing broadcaster that he is, Lon, good friend of mine, he hates Jacks. He has come out and said Jacks are evil. They were created by the devil. And Lon would be saying, why are you playing Jacks? Stop playing them.
Nimsad feels that way.
Yep. Nimsad, by the way, came into the final table seventh in chips. He exits in 7th. Good news for him is he'd already picked up about $1,500 in bounties. He's going to add $1,200 in prize money, so about $2,700 in his pocket. Not literally in his pocket, but figuratively in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And we're down to 6. How do you feel about giving away tickets, Nick?
Yeah, let's do it. Was that an ace-queen fold? I think Montiero folded ace-queen.
Probably realized, said, well, I can't win twice in a row with ace-queen.
I think about fold. Wow, flip and stop gets 8 through there when it didn't look likely.
No, it did not look likely at all. See if Flip and Stop wants to raise this. No, they're going to let this one go, and the Ace-9 will likely win. Okay, let's give away tickets, Nick. I asked you a question about Valentine's Day. I said, when did this stupid holiday start? When did it start becoming a day where you get roses and garbage and romance and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is one where I have absolutely no idea. As it turns out, it was 400 BC or something, was it? Whatever you said. I guess that it was sometime in the 1800s, because that's when ideas of romance and, not having to work in the fields and die at 36 started to take hold. So I went with 1862.
Which is the exact right answer. Yeah, it was right around the American Civil War, and people were so miserable about the Civil War, they decided, let me give my neighbor some roses, make them feel better.
Have you seen Gone with the Wind? It's very much that kind of vibe.
There you go. I like it. Well, if you said 1862 or just near 1862, you might have won. Leo Gygax said 1865. He answered on Twitch. John Donne was on YouTube and said the exact right answer, 1862. Somehow, John Donne climbed inside Nick's brain and was able to get inside there.
Well done, John Donne. Very good.
So John Donne and Leo Gygax, make sure, if you're on YouTube, it'll be different. But either way, your whispers, however you can do it on YouTube, make sure Lime Ricky gets a hold of you, get your details so you do get your ticket. If you didn't win one, don't cry, don't fret. We have 3 more to give away on the show and then 2 more to give away after the show. They're all of the $109 variety. So pretty exciting stuff here.
Definitely.
You are watching Magic Monday. I can't believe Google was like 500 years off.
Yeah. Your 1888 was of no use except to get you this shout out. Congratulations on a near miss.
In fairness, honestly, I was like throwing out 17, 13. If I was actually answering, I would have been worse than you. I would have guessed like early 1900s.
Yeah.
I would have guessed it like 1911 or something like that.
Is it worldwide? From our chat, most people, and we've got people in all sorts of countries, seem to be recognizing.
We've got an all-in here. Hold on.
Is it everywhere that has Valentine's Day?
We have an all-in there, by the way. 7's no good against King Jack. Flip and Stop, who came into our final table as our short stack, does double up to 23.5 big blinds. Yeah, I'm curious. Is it? What are people saying? I mean, clearly it's in the UK and it's clearly in the United States, but... Oh, by the way, the free roll has begun. Registration is still open, so if you're not in there, don't fret. You can get in there now. The password, once again, final 888. Final 888 gets you in. And if we're around long enough, we'll give you a shout-out if you're doing well. We're giving away $500 in cold hard cash, plus, of course, the shout-outs. So what is the thing?
Tower says not in Brazil. Con Martioni says it's in June. Doc Matu says in Germany. It's Valentinstag. Sure.
Okay, but you still have a Valentine's Day. It's just a different day.
Yeah. Well, the world disagrees with you, David Tupman. You say it's terrible. The world says we love it. Does Alan Cunningham call here with 10s? Don't know.
Yep, they do, and it's a race. Can the 10s hold? Can they fade the queen or the jack? They can. Once again, Alan Cunningham showing why he's Alan Cunningham up to 55 big blinds. Put that man in the Hall of Fame.
This poor guy, probably his actual real name is Alan Cunningham, and he's just not the Alan Cunningham. And every time he does anything in poker, he has to endure this kind of thing.
Right. He shows up to like day 2s of like tournaments, and people are like, I handed mobbed you. Wow, you're really good, huh? No, it's not me. No. It's the other Alan Cunningham.
No, I'm fine. I'm not really good.
I'm the Alan Cunningham who was like 18,000 in lifetime earnings on Hendon Mob. Leave me alone. No, of course the rest of the world thinks that Valentine's Day is great because they want to make it's a money-making thing. Oh my God. Gregorius says they have 2.
2?
2.
It's a lot of love in Romania.
Cindy Bear would have been close to me. She said 1908. Winning Kathy, by the way, in 88th place in the free roll. Winning, we're really early on in the free roll. I think we got an all-in here, right?
We do. Oh, Ace on the River is cruel for Monteiro.
Yep, that's a turn, but it's okay.
Oh, sorry, the turn. I know the turn's 4th, isn't it? That's right. I've got my notes here and I just don't look at them. Turn's the 4th one out.
Nick's new to poker, guys. He's only been coaching and teaching and playing poker for like 3 decades.
Amazingly, you don't really need to know the rules to do all of that stuff.
No. Oh, Montiero, 23, out in 6th place. They came to this final table, by the way, 4th. They made about $1,400 in bounties, another $1,590 for 6th place. So they earn about $3,000 when it's all said and done. We got another all-in here.
Another all-in.
Ace 5. Oh, there's the ace. Club or queen. Not going to happen.
Another
Jack of hearts.
ace on the river. Incredible.
Flop and stop, or flip and stop, I should say. Doubles up to 47 big blinds. Sasha back down to a measly 105 big blinds. How will they survive with just 105 big blinds? Yeah, Father's Day and Mother's Day, those are stupid holidays also, but for different reasons. I'll get into those when we get closer to those days.
Well, they're slightly different, though, because Mother's Day is Mothering Sunday, which is a Christian religious festival, and Father's Day was made up by Hallmark.
Right.
It was. So, slightly different.
Every year, though, my wife, we're like, oh, so Mother's Day, do you want to have a brunch at the family? And then she goes, no, I don't want to see any of you people. I want to go to a spa and get a massage. And just for like 3 hours, I want to forget that I'm a mother.
It's a big deal in the Mediterranean. Huge deal.
Yeah. Fair enough. Hello, everybody. Free roll. Still going on. Registration's got about, we'll say 20 minutes left in it. Final 888 gets you in. Nose the gal saying, will 888 poker return to Brazil? We'd
love it.
Yes. Nick and I would both absolutely love it. I got to go to Sao Paulo several years ago with 888 poker, and I had an amazing time, and I would love to go back to Brazil. I've been very fortunate, and Nick has as well. I've been very fortunate that poker's taken me to many places in the world. Uruguay, Buenos Aires, Brazil, obviously all over Europe. A couple places that I would love to go with poker again would be Canada, Australia, and South America. I wouldn't mind going back. I wouldn't mind going to Africa again, too.
You've done a poker event in Africa?
Marrakech.
Ah. Cool.
Nines are good.
I have not done that. I have not done Marrakesh or Morocco or any of those.
Sasha, not going to raise every single button. 7 deuce goes in the muck. See if Overbet just shoves this. No, they're going to call. And I'm definitely checking this. I'm going to check this for sure because it's just like Overbet should have very few aces in their range. Very, very few aces in their range. And they got to check it again. Wow, look at this. Flip and stop, just not taking the bait.
Yeah, Overbet just desperate to get just a few more chips in. That would be lovely. One big blind, please.
I can't believe that.
Flip and stop is very disciplined.
Right? I mean, the player in the big blind with 9 big blinds should have very few aces. I'm betting that. I mean, I definitely would have lost chips there because I'm almost always betting the ace.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not getting all in here, though. Yep, there's the all in. There's the ace-9 call. No, flip and stop is, as you pointed out, very disciplined, not giving away chips. I've got these chips, and I'm not giving them away. They also are the only player at this table that are have the handshake. So that might signify that they are maybe a little bit more on the passive side. Yeah, although their average stake is $154. So that doesn't really stand a test. Oh, look at that. Alan Cunningham can't fade the king.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these premium pairs busted at this final table.
Yeah, pairs are no good at this table. Small little bet by Cunningham. Now, this is a bet for value. I mean, you're just trying to get called by straight draws, by a jack, by a 4. Now, obviously, you're just trying to get called by a jack if you bet. You might check this back one time. You do block the straights, and now you can beat nothing. You can't beat a jack, you can't beat a 4, you can't beat a king. And you block queen 10. We are approaching our first break. I'm confident we'll make the first break, Nick.
I am too.
At this point, yeah.
We'll do another giveaway after the break. We've still got 3 $109 tickets to give away, and we're going to spin the poker with the justice when this thing is over. But it looks like we've got quite a bit of poker left. We're quite deep stacked still, 5-handed.
Yeah. Catching Fire 888 says, in reference to Flip and Stop, says, so he shoves ace 4 for 30 big blinds, but doesn't call for 16 big blinds. That's actually the mark you usually have a pretty good poker player. Players realizing they can shove with, really any 2 because you get that fold equity. When you call, you just have to have the best hand. So you do need a much tighter range to make calls than you do to make shoves.
Yeah, definitely the correct way round.
Get a raise here. Sasha staying aggressive. Overbet's got a kind of hand they probably want to call the big blind with, but they have so few chips. If they do call and they hit a pair or any draw, they're just going to go with it. I might just open bet this. They're going to check, and I imagine check raise all in. Overbet. Again, though, they probably shouldn't have too many aces in their range. As they did not 3-bet pre. Yeah. Well, they didn't 3-bet pre. They shouldn't have too many aces. They can play this like a queen, though, very easily.
Yeah, I mean, Sasha is not particularly aggressive. There's been a number of spots where they could have either opened or bluffed post-flop. But I'm not saying that that's a comment on how good or bad they are. Just in general, they're not taking all these spots. Like a lot of players would have just bet the turn simply because 9 high is not very good. And you can get a lot of higher cards to fold.
I want to see if Sasha bets this. Try to get a 6 to fold. Or maybe a 7x of clubs. I mean, something like that. They might be thinking, and they do, it's maybe a little bit too small, though. Well, let's see if this works. They might be thinking, well, if my opponent had an ace, they would have bet. If my opponent had a queen, they probably bet this as well. So maybe I can get a 6 to fold. But I think the instincts were correct, trying to get one of those small pairs to fold. I just think the execution maybe a little bit too small.
Also, have them not hit the 7. I mean, if they don't hit the 7... it's fine.
That's also big too, right? Well, it's just one of those things when if your opponent had a flush draw and didn't hit the 7, they might be bluffing the river. The fact that they checked it would indicate that they might have some showdown value. Not always, obviously, but could be the case. Not a particularly great flop for either hand, but Sasha's going to represent and take it down as we approach our first break. We have lost 3 of our 8.
The play we don't see very often in that spot is overbetting the pot, because you're just putting max pressure. You're literally just saying, this is, a very hard bet for you to call, even though my hand doesn't, the story doesn't ring true about me having a big hand. It's just still incredibly hard for you to call. Like, that's a very legitimate play when you've got a bigger stack.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And even if you're not overbetting the pot, even if you're going, say, like 3/4 pot at least, put a little bit of pressure on your opponent, right? When you bet like quarter pot, it's just too easy for them to flick the call button.
Yeah. Break? No, another hand. And
No.
that is one of the biggest, if not in modern poker, perhaps the biggest difference between pros and non-pros, which is how much effort pros put into bet sizing, how wide their thinking is, and how good they are at using bet sizing to get whatever they want done. Like a lot of times people know when to bet and when not to bet nowadays, but bet sizing is a big separator, I think.
No, well said. We will have more analysis after the next break, if that ever comes. But no, it's so true. By the way, I was so ready to set up the break because I was sure it was coming, and it failed me. I had a perfect segue.
Oh man!
No,
commentators cursed.
Say it again.
Commentators cursed. You were right there. And no, still no break. Maybe
no soup. No soup for you. Yeah, we're going to be breakless.
Maybe the players are doing Iron Man.
Ooh,
straight through.
I want to propose that. So you know, at the World Series of Poker, they have a tag team event.
Yeah.
I want to make the tag team event an Iron Man event.
It's a good idea.
I mean, that's the way to do it. And I'm going to do, no Iron Man here. We're going to take a break because we need it, because that's what we need. And you need a break as well. But in 5 minutes, the exciting conclusion of this tournament and more giveaways.
Hey guys, I'm Ian Simpson, and today I am super excited to announce that 888poker will now have a HUD or heads-up display built into our software. Whenever you're seated at the table, you'll be able to hover over your opponent's avatar or your own and get some vital statistics about them. You'll be able to see their VPIP, their PFR, their 3-bet, and where they're from. So how do we put this information to work? Let's say you've opened and the button 3-bets. Well, you can hover over your opponent's avatar and see their 3-bet statistic. And here we can see that it's only 4. Now that's actually really small. You can go ahead and safely fold your marginal hand, knowing that they're only 3-betting a very narrow range and they likely have a much better hand than yours. In this scenario, our opponent has a PFR, short for pre-flop raise, of just 10%. That means they're playing a very narrow selection of hands. That means we have to be a little more cautious when dealing with them, as we are likely facing a very strong hand. Jumping over to this spot on the final table of a tournament, we can hover our mouse over our opponent's avatar and see their tournament winnings. We can see this player only has $114 worth of winnings, whereas this player has $140,000 worth of tournament winnings. Now, this doesn't tell the whole picture, but it is indicative of how much experience our opponents have. And finally, in this scenario, we can see our opponent has a VPIP, which stands for voluntarily put in pot, of 40%. Now, that number is really high. Our opponent is playing far too many hands. So when we raise pre-flop, they call and we get this flop, we can bluff a lot more liberally. That's because our opponent is going to have far too many weaker hands that are just going to have to automatically fold to our bet. As you can see, having access to this information can be a real game changer. It can be a big help when making the decisions you're going to have to make at the tables. Give it a try for yourself. Let me know what you think. Tell me which stack you think is the most helpful. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our great content. Thanks for watching, and good luck at the tables.
Any hearts about, ladies and gentlemen?
Big old 17 outs now, though, for Jordan, and 1 in 3 shots to become champion.
Times.
Kartik's all in with 6-4 offsuit on the cutoff. I have to say, Tower, I'm not sure about this one.
6-4 in the cutoff.
This seems a little bit loose. He's still got 10 bigs. I mean, we'll probably end up calling here, I imagine. It's just too far ahead.
Made the call.
It's too far ahead of range.
Yeah.
And you'll see just how far ahead of range it is when Kartik flips over 6-4 offsuit.
Yep.
And he gets the
You've caught me, he says.
Pants firmly round the ankles here for Kartik, but 40%.
He's live. 6-4, he's live.
Oh, it's a good start.
4.
Up to 76% for Kartik, who begins pulling his jeans around to the knee area.
Oh,
he in. Pull them all the way up, Tower.
Tell you what, he's fastened the belt.
He has it down.
He's fastened the belt and he's pulled it even tighter. He's got quads.
Wow.
Love it.
Could we get all in
Yeah,
here?
it should be. All in, Dan. Call Joan. You expect?
Yeah. And we would have seen the same result had Joan shoves, but as it is, Dan gets to apply what he assumes is chunks of pressure, and Joan has a very simple call with one of the strongest hands you can hope to have five-handed. Here it comes.
Yeah, she's got a call here. I can't see how she'd ever fold. Like, Dan going to shove worse ace-x, going to shove king-queen, queen-jack suited. A lot of stuff we dominate.
I mean, we've surely opened this to get attacked.
Yeah, there
comes
we go.
call.
Let's find it. So, are we going to be at the final table, guys? Is this the hand?
Here's a flop. And more outs for Joan.
Yeah, keep it high, dealer. Ace, king, and queen all working.
Yeah, lots and lots of outs here. How about a 9?
Oh!
How about a 9?
You feeling all right? Steve calls the
Right,
line.
let me go again. Ready? King.
So Eastie calls the king, and ace, queen, or 8 would do as well. Oh my word! Are you feeling all right? What?
You're welcome, Joan. I'm just saying, you're welcome.
What on earth was that?
Raj ace 4. Shoves the small.
Yep.
Very good. Should play well against most small blind jams, 4-handed. 5-handed, sorry. And in it goes.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call by Joan.
In it goes. Jack Queen.
She sees
Live.
the ace 4, but like even against a raggy ace tower, we're
Yeah.
basically flipping most
Yeah,
of the time.
absolutely.
Well,
45%.
45% here.
45% of the time she wins the hand. Jack on the flop. So there we go. Big chance to double. Oh, the ace on the turn.
That is ridiculous. You think you've got there. You
Now needs any paint to survive.
think king, queen, jack.
And it is not. Joan hits the flop, but very unlucky. Eliminated. Had to go with that for 6.5. Had to.
Welcome back, Magic Monday. Well, we've lost 3 players. We have 4 more to lose before crowning a champion. Plus, we've got giveaways to give to you. Nick Wealthall, David Tuckman here for 888 Poker's Magic Monday. The Poker Festival, the Poker News Championship Series is well, it's coming, and it's coming very soon. And we're gonna give you tickets so you can play in it. How awesome is that?
Super awesome. The tickets we're giving away tonight are for the opening event, which is a $109 event. And we're going to have coverage of the 300K guaranteed final table. The thing about this series that's great is that it's lower buy-ins, but great structures. So if you are sitting at home thinking, I want to play big tournaments, but I don't have the budget or I don't have the poker experience yet, this is where you want to jump in.
Yeah, I believe that final will be on February 25th, if my math is correct.
Okay.
It should be a Tuesday. I believe we're here next Monday, and then the last February show will be on the Tuesday, as we'll be covering the final table of that one. This is that's just rough math, so I could be wrong.
Okay. I'm sure you're right.
Who knows? Nonetheless, though, the Poker News Series is back February 16th. Just 6 days from now, guys. Very exciting stuff as we look at a King 10-10 flop blind on blinds. See if Mofo wants to go at this one. This is Ron Irish Mofo, who's already locked up more than $1,000 in bounties. I like calling here. I really do. I mean, I think there's a lot of – first of all, Queen High is going to be the best hand some of the time. And there's a lot of turn cards you do like. I think if you're just always folding Queen Highs, Ace Highs, those kind of hands in heads-up play, you're going to be taken advantage of. And here, look at this. Sasha hits a 3 and actually bets for value, trying to get called by an ace or maybe a queen. And do they?
They might, yeah. It's like
they do.
Lovely skinny value.
Hey, I am a big fan of squeezing as much juice as you can out of the orange. Sasha back up to 93 big blinds. Has been the chip leader throughout this final table. Can they go wire to wire?
Yeah, and they've played it pretty snug, really. They haven't kind of, sometimes we see big chip leaders get excited and start 3-betting everything and start calling every all in. And obviously, you don't have to do that. You can use your big stack to put pressure, but it's not essential.
No, and I always say this, and I know I repeat myself a lot in this situation. I talked to David Williams about this, who finished second to Greg Raymer many years ago for the World Swiss Poker Main Event. And he talks about how there's so many players out there that feel this pressure when they're the chip leader, like they have to be a big bully.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Joe Hashem, by the way, also is the same way, was the chip leader for much of the final table. He ended up winning and kind of stayed out of the fray until there were like 4 or 5 players left.
It's perfectly fine to just keep playing your hands. That's totally fine. There's sort of good mathematical reasons why you should be more aggressive, but it's not essential. You're still playing, if you're playing the poker that got you there and you're making good decisions, you can still be playing plus EV poker, and that can absolutely be enough to win the tournament.
I mean, also the situation of when you're getting out of line with 4 or 5 players, it's just very unlikely your opponents have a big hand. When you're getting out of line with 8 opponents, 9 opponents, sometimes you're just walking into just big hands where people don't care about ICM anymore because they're like, I've got 10s, I've got jacks, I've got ace king. I don't care. I'm just going to stick it in. And you end up going from big stack to medium stack to short stack really, really quickly. Ace jack versus jack 6 here. Nothing going on for either player. Ace high is good here.
Tell you what is going on, David Topman. The free roll and the registration is about to close.
Oh, what do I need to do?
Well, you can't do anything. You can't play in it. You're in America.
Oh, but okay.
But if
in
you're
theory, if I
not
wasn't
David Tuckman and you're not in America, you go to the 888 Poker TV special streaming free roll on 888. You type in the password final 888, and hey presto, bingo bango, you're playing poker for $500. It's cost you nothing, and you can tell us all about it if it goes really well. Amazing.
It's just lots of win. I mean, I don't see any
wins.
Downside.
No, it's wins. It's just wins.
I was just teaching my kids pros and cons, because one of my kids was talking about moving somewhere, and he goes, "Well, can we move there?" And I go, "Well, it's got pros and cons," and we went through this, and I tried to teach him what pros and cons meant. But
nice.
I feel like when it comes to the 888 poker free roll, I just can't come up with any cons.
That's a good point.
They're all pros. It's good stuff. Pair of kings,
except for the players.
Or a chip leader, right?
So, another win.
Not only has Sasha been the chip leader throughout this final table, but they've basically been at 100 big blinds or more for the entire final table. It is amazing.
Yeah, pretty unlikely. We're getting some action.
Yeah, we've got cooler central going on here. The open from the Queen 9. We're gonna get a 3-bet here, likely shove and a call. When it's all set, when the dust settles, it will probably be about a 50 big blind pot, and the classic Queens versus Ace King race. Hard to imagine anything but that happening. There's the all-in.
Huge pot for these two players. One of them's going to be in second place on pretty much 50 bigs.
And both players insanely unlucky to actually be in a situation where they're flipping. Ace or a king on the river. No, it's a 10 of diamonds. Cunningham down to 7 big blinds. And our Irish mofo is up to 50 big blinds. Still 5 players remain.
Yeah, obviously a very big pot. Could be a critical pot. If Ron Irish wins this, that's the one they might remember. Got to win your flips, David Tuckman.
Yeah.
Other strategies have been tried, but that one reigns supreme.
It's the one thing with poker tournaments specifically. It's just no matter how careful you are, no matter how much you want to survive, at some point, we've got a big pot here, possible overs and the spade draw versus the 9s. Not sure that Irish mofo wants to go crazy, though. They are currently second in chips.
Yeah, there's not a huge incentive to, if you were to play a big pot here, I don't know what you'd be playing it against, really. Mainly just an overpair. Almost never a 2, but there's no reason to want to go to war.
Yeah, you might just call this one more time and just try to hit a 10 or a spade or an ace. Ron is going to call. And the river is, double paired board, but it is a spade. But I imagine now this goes check. maybe bet call. We'll see how this plays out. No, we're gonna get a bet anyway from Sasha. I don't know what this is.
I don't know what that bet is. I'm not sure what that bet is. Ron goes, well, I'm just going to call. If you got a jack, nothing I can do.
Right. I mean, I guess it's value. Right. I mean, I guess it's a value bet, and you're trying to get called by sevens or an ace high. But what kind of ace high would your opponent have that's not spades?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly couldn't say what the point of that one was.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're about either way, though. We basically have a neck and neck chip lead. Sasha's still the chip leader, but it's very close now between them and Ron from Ireland.
2 big pots for Ron, and from basically 4th out of 5, now joint chip leader, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, they flip queens versus ace king. They win that, and then they, ace 10 versus nines, another flip. They win that one, basically. Obviously not all in pre, but either way. Oh, look at that sneaky little river. Sasha makes the wheel. Back up to 89 big blinds.
We've lost our Al. We've got no more Al.
Nope. Alan Cunningham with $48.70 for Sasha, who eliminates another player. Alan Cunningham, by the way, had picked up about $400 in bounties, plus $2,135 for 5th place. They'll make about $2,500 when it's all said and done. And we're down to 4, remaining 4 players guaranteed, just under $3K.
Yeah, $2,500 is a pretty sweet return for a $109 buy-in tournament.
You can add that to Alan Cunningham's Hendon Mob. What's he up to now? 11 million.
2,500.
Yeah.
I believe. Not bad.
I really want it to be the real Alan Cunningham. I think it would be amazing.
It would be cool.
He's actually incredibly witty. You watch him at the poker table, and he seems kind of robotic and dry, but he is super sarcastic and has a really, really great, witty, dry sense of humor.
Oh, that's good to know. We need more funny poker players.
Eric Seidel as well. I mean, a lot of people don't see that side of him. Top pair for overbet. These small bets, I'm attacking these small bets. I 100% am attacking these small bets. I'm not getting my opponent see a free turn and river for 1 big blind. It's just not going to happen.
It did happen, and look what happened. Bad things for overbet.
I mean, you just want to get value. It's just you want to get value. I just don't want to let, you know what I mean? If whether I have something or not there. I mean, I'm not going to check raise all the time, but when my opponent puts that small little bet out there, I'm going to attack it more often than not. I like the fact that Sasha is betting this. I think they would try to rep the king or the ace if it came out, and why not bet it as well? Really no reason why this shouldn't go bet, check, and check, bet, and then decision time. Wow. Sasha doesn't bet the king.
Yeah, that is a little bit surprising because they have looked, pretty comfortable value betting, and there's really not much, unless apart from really random 2-pair stuff or something. There's really not a lot of times you're not comfortably ahead there.
Yeah, I mean they bet a 3 earlier on and got called by Queen High.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit surprised they did not.
Nobody gets it right every time, I guess.
Nah. And there definitely is, some reasoning behind not going for as thin value in a tournament as you would in a cash game, because the chips are more valuable.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're commentating on poker tournaments. You're always commentating. Well, first of all, you can see the cards, which is obviously going to bias you an awful lot. But also you commentate as if a player would take every spot and make every bet, take every bluff spot. And very, very few people play poker that way. It's very hard to, do you know what I mean? Always take every spot.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely.
It is
Sasha,
easy. It's easy from the gallery, isn't it, David?
this game is incredibly easy when you can see the cards.
It really is.
I would be
really
so
haven't
good.
noticed that.
Yeah. When you can see the cards, the game is really, really easy. We're all pros, especially when it's not our money and you can see the cards. Oh, forget about it. Sasha, by the way, back up over 100 big blinds. And now picking up some hands as well. Ace King here.
Yeah, lucky not to have anything to play against.
Nope. Must pain you to fold the big blind, but 9-4 offsuit, just not a hand you can go to war with.
Sasha's got a key performance indicator of 100 big blinds, and whenever they drop below, they start to attack more to get it. Got to get it back up to 100 BBs.
Right.
Like the blind level's just gone up, so they just took a 10 big blind hit. They're going to be furious, I think.
Well, I think they read that in one of the books. Like, having 100 big blinds in a poker tournament is good. And they're like, okay, that's my goal.
It's very, very strong goal. Good.
Flop and Stop's going to defend here, but they're kind of in a really awful spot. Like, they just have to hit. And when they hit, I guess they're going to go with it and just hope they're good because there is a really short stack out there. And I got to imagine if you're flop and stop, you really want to let that other player get eliminated before you do anything. And frankly, if you're Sasha, I don't even think you're in that much of a rush to eliminate the short stack. Sasha could be a little bit more aggressive if the second place person wasn't directly to their left. They are going to raise here. Let's see how Ron wants to play it.
Yeah, Ron can just see a flop in position, and that's a pretty good flop to see, let's be fair.
It's hard to flop a pair. Top pair is specifically hard. Sasha's going to go pretty large here, 5 into 7.5 big blinds. Ron makes the call. Imagine the hand is over now. Ron checks it back.
Yeah,
No draw there, though.
Ron can definitely should bet this river.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. So I think that's a pretty clear and egregious miss because Sasha's just really capped there, and you don't want to miss those spots. That's like a 12 big blind spot or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they get called. I mean, the flop was king 8-8, and they called a pretty big bet. So you're like, okay, what are they calling with? But at the same time, they could theoretically be calling with ace high. They could be calling with a smaller pair. I think you want to bet.
It's a risk-free spot. Is the point? Like, you know, it's risk-free.
It also makes it really difficult, and you and I have touched on this before. It makes it really difficult to bluff. Like if you're not betting king 9 there.
Mm-hmm.
What are you betting? You're only betting trips or your bluffs. It's hard to have trips.
Yeah, for sure. For show, we've got more tickets to give away, David. More $109 tickets. And,
we should do that.
I can sort of feel the vibe from chat. They're a bit quiet. They're a bit sort of, oh, is it worth the candle? Where's my tickets?
That's a good point. We need more. I think we need more chat interaction. Chat, make some noise. Let's make some noise. It's metaphorical noise, but make some noise by chatting.
Make some noise by chatting. Overbet's found a perfect spot here. We'll just see this spot and then we'll.
Oh, ace, queen, ace, jack. This is a great spot. There are some chop outs. That's not one of them. Full double up, back up to 23 big blinds, and I can tell you, there are players at the table that are not happy about that, but Overbet is quite happy.
Absolutely. They've been short stacked for what must feel like an awfully long time. People are saying things in chat. Oh,
there you go. Thank you, chat. I appreciate it. Let's go. Make some noise. Let's get going. Let's hype ourselves up.
Hi, Poker Pro. Hi, Muzzy Mons.
Yeah. Let's bring the hype.
Board is up.
Woo!
Whooped. Chimoggy says Tim Henman as usual. Player Caller says let's go tickets. This is enough noise, Killer Joe. I am persuaded to reward you with a ticket.
Yes.
Well, not you, Killer Joe, just the group. I hope that was clear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Killer Joe was like, yes, I got one.
Well, they still get that adrenaline rush.
And you might win one.
You might win one.
Yeah. How are we going to do it?
Excuse me.
How are we going to give away a ticket? Nick's choking, and I keep asking questions. It's like when you ask somebody a question when they're in the middle of eating, and you're like, come on, what's the answer? Now, we're going to do a keyword giveaway, everybody. We're going to give away one ticket here. Later in the show, by the way, Nick will ask me a question. We'll play Dave Thinks, Chuck Thinks, and you guys can climb inside my head. But for now, it's a keyword giveaway. It's one ticket. We're going to give away one ticket here.
Let's check. Lime, is the keyword ready? Is the keyword ready, Lime?
And this is really easy. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, because of the algorithms, we do this on Twitch. Okay? So if you're watching this on YouTube, unfortunately, you can't be part of this unless you open it on Twitch. So you've got to type the word in into our Twitch chat. And then their fancy software will let us know who wins the ticket. And it is a $109 ticket.
There's a big delay on our Twitch stream today from when we're talking. But the ticket is ready. Lime says the ticket is ready. Excellent.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. The keyword in honor of the Poker News series that we are starting very soon on 888 is Poker News. It's Poker News, David. Type Poker News.
That makes sense.
Type Poker News in the chat.
I thought maybe it was not going to make sense, and you were going to be like, oh, it's watermelon.
No, it's Poker News. I
It's
thought
Poker
about,
News.
Watermelon, but it's not that.
There
Type
is
Poker
a
News,
big-
you're entered into the draw. You must do it on Twitch, as David said. If you're on YouTube, you need to pop over to 888 Poker TV on Twitch to enter this one because it's software driven. One ticket to give away, and then we've got two more to give away a little bit later on.
It is weird, Nick. There's it seems like about a 12-second delay. Like we said, Poker News, and the Poker News just didn't start coming for like 10, 12 seconds.
We've got lag.
Maybe we're just too fast.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Too fast, too fast and too furious, like always.
Chip Taker would like a Henry update. How's Henry the dog?
Henners. I call him Henry. Do you know what? He's been ill.
Oh no! You want to take a ill? Look at this hand.
Wow, this is
the
ill.
nuts. The nuts for bottom two.
But he's on the mend, unlike Sasha here, who is going to not be on the mend.
No, the chips are almost definitely going to go in. I am when somebody raises and I've got the straight, I love to just get it in because my attitude is that, especially in this case, like you block your opponent from having hearts. Oh, what a terrible turn card for flop and stop. And this is one of the reasons why you want to get it in there. Now they're going to chop it up.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of drama for not much. That's what that was.
Anyway, I'll get my thought out because they're going to chop this up. One of the reasons you want to raise right away when you have the ace of hearts and you have the straight is because, well, number one, you block your opponent from having Sasha moves all in. Flop and stop's not going to fold, are they?
They have the ace of hearts.
They're not going to fold, are they?
No,
they made the call.
No.
Okay, they made the call. They chop it up. One of the reasons you want to, in my opinion, you want to 3-bet, get it in right away there, is because you don't block your opponent from having two pair. And when they have two pair, they're going to go and get it in. You also block your opponent from having a heart draw. You block your opponent from having straight draws because you have the jack. So they're just much more likely to actually have a hand. And when they have a hand and they've raised, they're not going to fold to the 3-bet. So just get the money in. You don't want to let a heart come off and kill your action. You don't want to let a jack come off and kill your action, and the jack of hearts came off and did kill his action. Let's go. The Poker News is get him in the chat, everybody. We're going to give away a ticket right now. Well, whatever Lime says, Lime rules it.
No, we'll close it up and Lime will run it. We're on a bit of a delay, so she needs us to say when to close it. So we'll close it and run it whenever you like, Lime. Yes, Chip Taker. Paul Henry is exactly right. but he's all right. He's got medication. He's improving.
The house we're staying at, by the way, the rental house we're staying at for the month, it has a pool. And my golden retrievers are quite happy with that because they like to jump in the pool.
Nice.
So I had to call the landlord and be like, is this okay? And they're like, yeah, whatever. I was like, cool. So
Here
my
we go.
kid
Someone's going to win a ticket, David.
Let's do it. I love
That
tickets.
person is...
Me?
That person is you. It's happening in a minute. When it appears... Lime, can you kick the machine?
So anticlimactic.
Hello. Hello, we need a winner.
Hello.
There we are.
Knock, knock.
It's C14 Tour C. Probably you can read that quickly and it says something more relevant. C14 Tour C.
By the way, while you were giving a ticket away, Sasha took the opportunity to go absolutely crazy with an insane bluff. They had nothing. Okay, no, they went and Irish Ron kind of knew they had nothing and called them until the river when Sasha moved all in with queen high and got ace high to fold. It was a crazy hand.
So this is the massive problem with playing No Limit Hold'em, which is that Sasha has not really played like that. Like, it's not that I don't think they've been tight at all, and they've made some little bluffs moves, but they haven't made a big move like that. And so you can be playing someone at No Limit Hold'em, and suddenly, they decide to make a move, and it's very hard to pick that off when people can just vary their play so easily.
Yeah, well, then that's obviously the mark of a good player, changing gears. But I mean, Sasha just realized their opponent wasn't strong, and just said, "I am going to put max pressure on the player who has second most chips," and they did. And Sasha's up to 90 big blinds, and as you can see, Irish Ron is at 48 big blinds. I did not see it happening. I mean, it was you're watching the hand play out, and you're like, okay, this shouldn't be a good hand. Go ahead, Nick, do the giveaway. And the pot just kept getting bigger and bigger, and Sasha really put a lot of pressure on. But it's a great point you bring up, because let's say that bluff got caught, and you were at the table. You'd be playing that guy 3 years from now, and you'd be like, oh, that's the crazy guy.
Yeah.
Because they made one play.
Yeah, true. Definitely.
It's so funny.
Check raise here, which is going to win it, we think.
Yeah, and I like this check raise on a wet board.
Cool. And I think it's also true to say that everybody, even if you've got the tightest player possible, everyone knows that bluffing is part of poker. So I think I've heard you say this before, David, but you can never say this guy never bluffs, because even the tightest players bluff at poker sometimes because everyone knows it's part of the game. So you just have to be, and it is a battle because of the way the human brain likes to work in sort of rules. That's how it understands the world. But you have to be very flexible and very in the moment when you play poker, I think.
Yeah. The whole, this guy's always bluffing. And that guy, that old guy never bluffs.
Never bluffs, yeah, exactly.
It's just not true. It's just not true.
Not true, it's not helpful.
No, it's one of the reasons why there are players out there that kind of default to the GTO solver, because they're just going, that just puts me in a better situation where I'm not just going by rules. Now it's, okay, well, this guy's, maybe he's bluffing 8% of the time or 12% of the time or whatever it might be. Top pair here for Ron. Overbet is going to bet his ace high.
It's definitely a much more logical way to play poker than to just rely on reads, which are pretty much vibes. Like, I understand that you can, reading hands is a skill, and you can use, deductive logic to make your reads better. But you're still, having to make judgment calls in the moment, as opposed to the example you just gave, where you're going, this guy or girl probably bluffs about 20% of the time here, so I'll do X. Rather than trying to get a specific read in a specific moment.
I mean, we talk about your good friend, Kara Scott, obviously, former 888 ambassador. We love her. When she first started playing poker, she found a ton of success because I think people just assumed, oh, she's a girl, she doesn't bluff, right? She always has it.
Yeah.
She was just super aggressive.
Yeah, she won several $100,000 just being really, really bluffy.
And everybody's like, oh, wow, she just keeps picking up hands. And I've heard a lot of women say that when they first started playing, until they got their reputation and they got caught bluffing a couple of times. I think, you've got to find what works for you. When I look at really, really good poker players out there, there's a blend where, yes, they are relying on live reads and their vibe, so to speak, that you just something you mentioned. But they're also relying on the technical aspect of it, the GTO, the solvers. Whether they're actually using solvers or not, that's not the thing. It's just a matter of like, okay, how often is this person bluffing in this spot? How many bluffs do they have? What bluffs are they? So forth and so on.
We did forget to mention that I think my theory about Sasha and the 100 big blinds is actually right, because
it might be they
just get aggro and bluffy when they fall below their KPI. And now we're going to see, because this blind rise that we've just had has knocked them down to 75 big blinds. They're going to be very sad.
I mean, is there a chance the tournament ends with 100 big blinds on the table, because that's how much Sasha needs?
Yeah, maybe. Could happen.
Irish Ron has done a really good job, though, to kind of stay really aggressive. This could get interesting. Normally, this could be a raise in a 3-bet spot. I don't know if Irish Ron wants to do it against the chip leader. And we can obviously see that Sasha actually has the goods. But more often than not, I was going to say, more often than not, the button raise just is not strong. The small blind is going to be aggressive. But this is going to go all in, and Irish Ron is going to go, what did I do? Why did I even do this?
Yeah, with the 2 short stacks behind, it's absolutely fine to fold the ace-3. I mean, I know it will feel tight four-handed, but you can just fold there. Yeah,
it's a gross spot because it feels like...
No, it feels really tight because the button's opening so much of their range, but it is fine to fold because of the stacks, because you just don't want to play a hand out of position.
We could get an all in here. No, look at this. Sasha's just okay with keeping the short stacks around. Does not call off with the 4s.
Yeah, quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in a vacuum, if you're not worried about ICM at all, ace-3 is a great 3-betting spot. The problem is, as you pointed out, I mean, Sasha can just 4-bet with impunity. I'm not saying they're doing it, but they certainly could. Ace-8 versus ace-6. Oh, my gosh. The 8 is going to play. The 8's definitely going to play now. 8 on the river. And that is it for flop and stop. Your stop is here, my friend. Get off the bus. Out in 4th place. Sasha picks up another $140. I want to say they've eliminated like everybody but one at this final table. They're back up to 95 big blinds. Flip and stop, sorry, came in as a short stack, so really good job by them, finishing in 4th. They picked up about $1,300 in bounties, plus $2,900, so about a $4,000 day when it's all said and done.
Very, very nice. Yeah, they did a good job of battling away without a ton of chips. It's amazing how Sasha just hasn't been in any trouble at all. The biggest problem they had was they lost a big pot to Ron Irish, which put them down to, was it 70 big blinds, I think?
Yeah, I want to say the lowest they've had is, maybe like 70 big blinds, which is insane.
It's crazy. That's very unusual.
The funny thing is, in poker tournaments, I would say that my Achilles heel in poker tournaments is that like 30 big blind stack. And you always say, you're like, well, at some point you're going to have to play a 30 big blind stack. Sasha's like, hold my beer, maybe not. I'm going to win this tournament, never getting down below 70. And they're back to 100.
Over 100. Look at that. It's a gift. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it.
This might be one of the more impressive, dominating performances we've ever seen at a final table.
Yeah, without a lot of kind of big pots or flary plays, really. One big flary play, but it's been it's been very dominant. Oftentimes when we see a dominant performance at the final table, it's just because there's a lot of all-ins against shorter stacks and they win them all, isn't it? Whereas this has been more completely controlled.
We have 2 more tickets to give away, by the way. So if you are just joining us, or if you're new to our show, by the way, we do this every Monday. Hence, the show is called Magic Monday. But it's not the only thing we have on our channel. Okay, so we've got Home Game Tuesday this week, by the way, featuring the legend himself, Aaron Baroni. Aberoni68. Tune in, register, and see if you can claim his bounty. You can blast up this Wednesday with Leo Jakura and Andre Calls. Takeover Thursday continues this week with Leo as well. You can join. You can earn Twitch points by watching, and then you can turn those Twitch points into a chance to win on our redemption wheel, the Wheel of Justice spin. We also have 4 more $109 tickets to give away. If you are new to our channel, make sure you hit that follow button, hit the heart.
Yeah. Do it.
All the cool kids are doing it.
They are, and there are no consequences.
Again, no cons.
Shout out to you if you're in the free roll. Apparently, they're already in the money. Is that true? It's the pit says that they are in the money. If you're in our chat and you're in the money in the free roll, say, yes, I'm in the money, and don't lie because no one likes that person.
Is it quicker this week? Are they in the money quicker than normal? It feels like it.
Well, it's the pits that said free roll in the money, so I presume that's right. If that is right, that is quick, but still counts.
Well done. Yeah, whether it's quick or not, good on you. King 10, no spade in their hand versus Queen 9 with the spade. 19 big blinds in there, and Sasha really putting pressure on, but it's not going to work for them. If they put a lot of pressure on here, they're going to double up their opponent. No, they give up. And Irish Ron can certainly bet this. I assume an all-in is in order. You've got trip 9s, trying to get called by an ace. Sasha got to take a moment. I guess just a little bit of a hand funeral and let that one go.
Yeah, a little bit of a hand funeral.
Chip Taker says, I bust, no surprise there. Hey, Chip Taker, don't worry. Next week's your week. I feel good. Sleepy the Old confirming, yes, they are in the money.
So people in the money, Igor Spills Everything, Tower, Dame AG, Macmillan Sachs, Bougie, Camsmay, Player Quiller, Sleepy the Old. Well done to all of you for making the money. Remember, it's not about how much you win, it's about how many people you beat and finish ahead of. That's the point of poker.
True story.
Just about winning. We've got 2 more $109 tickets to give away. We'll just see this hand, David, and then I'm going to ask you a question, and the players in chat are going to play for those tickets. How exciting is that?
That's really exciting. 2 $109 tickets to give away. You can use them in the Poker News Championship Series, which is just coming up in 6 days. Once again, the rules are really simple. You can answer in YouTube or in Twitch chat. Only answer once. Lime Ricky is on you. She knows if you've been naughty. And you've got to climb inside my head and guess how I think. Google will not help you in this regard. You just have to think, how does that man who wears his hat on backwards, like a 17-year-old, how does he think?
Like a 17-year-old that never grew up.
I never want to grow up.
1 guest per play. You can play on YouTube. You can play on Twitch. You ready for a question, David?
I was born ready.
Good. I love your attitude. Good luck to chat. We've just had the Super Bowl. Well, no call here. We've just had the Super Bowl, and there was a halftime show which was terrible, unless you like talking music, which I personally don't. The Super Bowl halftime show has become a staple. It is generally brilliant. Over the course of the Super Bowl, in all of its history, David Tuckman, how many songs have been sung during halftime? How many songs have been sung cumulatively in halftime Super Bowl shows?
How many songs have been sung? How many different songs have been
Super Bowl
sung?
history.
I'm going to have to do a little bit of math, so give me a moment while I figure this out, because we always try to get it right.
I believe in you, and I think you will get it right. As you answer the question, how many songs does David Tuckman think have been sung in Super Bowl halftime shows in total since it began? Good luck, players. 1 guest per play. You can play on YouTube. You can play on Twitch, but you can't have 2 guesses. Pick your platform. 1 guest per player. 2 $109 tickets up for grabs. Don't say we never do anything for you. Lots of luck. Both players have a pair here. And Sasha is going to bet their pair. Quite often the best hand. Quite a drawy board, so let's get Overbet to pay for any draws they might have.
Okay, my answer's in. I've
Fast
done the math.
Fast maths, well done.
I mean, I don't, clearly, obviously, this is an impossible answer to know off the top of your head, but I'm obviously very familiar with the NFL. I cover the NFL for Sky Sports. I know how many Super Bowls there are. Things like that certainly going to help, right?
When did the halftime show start? Any idea?
That I don't know, and that's certainly part of the equation.
Yeah, that's going to influence your guess. Good luck, everybody. We'll give you winners shortly.
Knowing how many Super Bowls there are is not necessarily the toughest part. Knowing when the Super Bowl halftime show started, that's the money.
That's the tricky bit.
Right.
That's the money.
A lot of clubs out there. Not a bad flop if you have 10-9 as you got the top pair with 10 of clubs.
Beautiful flop.
And even better when your opponent is betting into you. Sasha just calling, thinking, well, if my opponent's bluffing, I'll let them bluff. I'm betting this for value. No, Sasha's not going to, though. They're going to check. Checks back. And a
nobody's life has changed.
Not really, no. Overbet, by the way, with the double before, they're up to 30 big blinds, and it really is kind of a have and have not in the sense of you've got a clear chip leader and then two players basically tied. And we could get some action here between the two shorter stacks. Queen high flop. Now, I'd be a lot more apt to play a big pot against the other medium stack as opposed to against the big stack because I can hurt them. Ace-king checks it back. Got to imagine Ron wants to put some money in the pot now with the queen. They do.
Yeah, check back on this kind of flop, especially short-handed, is going to mean that Overbet has pretty much the hand that they have a lot of the time. Ace high, something like that.
Wow, they just moved all in here.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, they're basically telling the story that they have a set of tens, which they would check back tens sometimes on this flop. A set of sevens, a set of fives, something along those lines where they check back because they wanted to give their opponent some rope. I don't know, though.
This is actually a pretty sick spot, I think.
No, it really is. The problem is the times they have the set. Oh, wow. They get the fold. The times they have the set, I'm going to ask you this. When they have a set of tens or a set of sevens or a set of fives, are they really going to move all in? Or are they going to just raise because they want to get action? Like, that just screams like flush draw to me. Now, again, going back to what you said like 11 minutes ago, I can see the cards.
From here, I think that's a pretty hard spot. Yeah, you'd have to do a bit more analysis on that in terms of combos. But it is still a big laydown. Three-handed, it's still a big laydown. You're supposed to have a big range on the button three-handed, right? So yeah.
I mean, even forget about the pre-flop action. You look at it and going, let's say, okay, he's got a wide range pre-flop. I'm just wondering, what hands are they checking back the flop on a Queen 7-5 board, checking back the flop, and then going all in on the turn, as opposed to just keeping my opponent around? Like, are they saying they have exactly like 10-5 off, like 10-5 suited?
Yeah, they can have
two pair.
They can have a lot of two pair, can't they? They can have a lot of two pair simply because of the pre-flop situation where they're going to be opening 60, 70% of their hands, possibly even more. But yeah, definitely a big laydown.
Well, look at this. Overbet, aggressive with the ace-king, does elicit the fold, and then follows that up with top pair versus second pair, gets paid, and now Overbet up to nearly 50 big blinds, clearly in second place. Sasha below 70 big blinds for a hot second. Very uncomfortable territory for Sasha being under 70.
Very uncomfortable. There'll be twitching in their chair, probably running around the apartment trying to get rid of the. Look at this,
Yep.
just going to go to war now. I need to get my chips back.
Yeah, I need to be over 70. And sure enough, they're back over 70.
That's more comfortable. The contest is closed. We'll announce the winners in a little bit as this builds to a climax.
Yep. The drama now, really, do we make the second break, which is in about 10 minutes?
Oh, wow. Yes, real drama. Looks like we will, you'd have thought. Plenty of chips in play here.
An interesting flop here. Pair eights with a straight draw versus top pair. Irish Ron just calling. Turn is a 6. So 2 pair now. A resident mofo still with a gut shot. Needs a 9 or an 8 to win it. And they just let it go. Nick Wealthall, David Tuckman here for 888 Poker. Thank you so much for spending your Monday evening, day, wherever you might be in the world.
Yes.
Thank you for spending it with us.
We appreciate it.
We're back at it next Monday, and then the following week it'll be a Tuesday show as we'll be covering the final table of the Poker News Championship Festival's main event. That'll be a $300K guarantee. It's a $1 million guarantee across the entire series. Get involved. See how aggressive Overbet wants to get now that they have some chips. Pretty trash hand, queen deuce offsuit, and they do let it go. I feel like the only time Sasha's kind of gone down with chips is when the blinds go up.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They've just been relentless.
Yeah, if you think back, actually, very few missteps from them. Their timing's been pretty good on almost everything.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Three-handed. The remaining 3 players, by the way, guaranteed just about $4,000. There's $7,300 up top. And that's in addition to what the players have already locked up with their bounties. Sasha, by the way, has locked up like $1,500 in bounties. Irish Ron has got over 1,000 in bounties. Overbet about $600 in bounties. Could see some action on this. I mean, I feel like we should. Top pair versus what was second pair on the flop. Queen on the turn obviously changes that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of checking back of the flops since we've gone short-handed.
Ooh, look at that sexy little 8 on the river. Overbet does hit trips. And I mean, this is a tough hand to get away from if you're Irish Ron. He does check. It's kind of funny. I mean, even though we've gotten shorter, I feel like the players are still playing this like it's a full ring game.
Yeah, I think that's a good observation, actually. It's not like they're being really tight. It's just that they haven't really quite adjusted to how, wide some of the ranges are, I think.
Yeah. Making a pair, when you're three-handed, if you flop a pair, you can almost always bet for value. I mean, the hands you're checking back in that spot are maybe like the king highs, ace highs, but a pair of 8s is just a really good hand. Now, obviously, 9-handed, when you've got second pair, a lot of times you are checking that back. Now, this is crazy, but I mean, king high here, you can bet this for value on the river. Oh, no, I'm sorry, on the turn. With queens and 6s out there, it's just king high is just going to be the best hand so often. Now, I mean, can you get value from worse? Not necessarily. Oh. Look at that one. Sasha bet the river and got a fold.
Yeah.
There was a full house on the board.
Yeah, that was... I think maybe overbet just folded really fast, didn't quite register that there was a full house on the board, maybe.
And that your opponent never had a queen or a 6 in their hands, ever.
Right.
And by the way, the fact that there were 3 6s and 2 queens would mean if they had a pair in their hand, it would have to be higher than queens.
But I'm saying they folded so fast, I think they perhaps didn't even register that it was a full house on the board, you know?
Yeah, maybe they clicked the fold button before they even, they clicked it on the turn or something.
That's what it looked like.
Big flop here for overbet with the top pair and the flush draw. Shout out to our director and producer, Hayden. Doing an amazing job, as always.
Is he?
I mean, he's not Joey.
No,
but,
he is.
I mean, he's doing it.
I just like to razz him because he's got no right of reply. He is doing an amazing job. So is Lime.
Right.
We're very lucky to have them.
It's like the stand-up comic who makes fun of the people in the audience, but they have the microphone.
Yeah.
The power of the person with the mic.
Exactly what it's like.
Top pair turns into a flush.
We'll announce the winners of the contest after the second break, so it looks like we're going to get there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, still a lot of blinds in play.
Oh, wow. Sasha's stepped in it. After playing a perfect final table. What a huge mistake. They decide to put the pressure on, and they're a little bit unlucky because if overbet doesn't have a flush, they probably get a fold. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think based on the sizing and the way the hand played out, I have to imagine that Sasha just thought overbet was capped and maybe only had a pair, maybe at best 2 pair, but never had the flush. Really risky since Sasha did not have a diamond blocker in their hand. But you got to give them credit. They went for it. It just didn't work out for them. And now the question is, how does Sasha react?
Yeah, now they've got to chill a little bit. I'm a little bit worried to see them bluffing here. Because that is the first big setback. And you're playing for big money, big differences between first and third.
Uh-oh.
You want to take a breath.
Well, especially when your opponent turns the nuts.
Gives them a gut shot, but...
Oh, what a cagey check from overbet. I think Sasha's going to go for it. This is definitely, Phil Locke has coined the term upstuck. And it's definitely when players go on tilt in this situation, and you can see Sasha's just going for it. And
there's cool here.
I would imagine, why not? I mean, you've got the nuts.
This could be an epic flame out after us saying how controlled and how dominant Sasha has been. It does shove. They get away from it.
I think they just assumed my opponent was aggressive on the flop and on the turn. They must have something, right? I don't block straights. I don't block my opponent having a pair.
I'll tell you what they had, David. They had tilt.
Oh, they're going to get an all in here. It's Queen Jack versus Ace King. Could the King Queen call here too? Is there a world where King Queen calls? No, they let it go.
Oh,
and there's a Queen. Oh my gosh. An ace or a king. No, it's a 3 of clubs, and what a flame out it was. Sasha gets very unlucky. I mean, you got to look at the ace-8 hand and go, was it a mistake? Yeah, obviously in that spot. But how often do they actually get the fold? They just happen to walk into their opponent's top of their range.
Yeah, it's easy to criticize, but that's the kind of play that probably got them to the final 3 of the final table. And if they don't have a flush, which is quite hard to have in that spot, they almost certainly get a fold. So... just unlucky at the end from Sasha after a great final table.
That's the thing. It's so unlikely your opponent actually has the flush, but they did in that spot. Sasha 21 place, by the way, still a great final table. They lock up about $5,500, $5,400 for their third place efforts, that with the bounties. So over $5,000 for Sasha. We are heads up for the championship and overbet with all the chips.
They took them all from Sasha. Sasha's on the rail going, that's my 100 big blinds. Ron Irish is going to need a little bit of a miracle, but we've seen many heads-up deficits like this overturn. We could be here for 2 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah, and Sasha 21 obviously, followed up that ace-8 bluff with maybe a little bit of tilt for a hand and then picked up ace-king, and the writing was on the wall.
Is the writing on the wall here, David? Ron needs some hands.
He needs hands. This is not going to be... I would imagine this just goes check, bet, all in. and they win this one, which will get them back up to about 11 big blinds. But yes, Irish Ron is going to need some Irish luck. Wow, they just called that. Oh my gosh. The jack that's not a diamond on the river. An overbet hits the jack, and do they get paid? Do they go for value here?
They can definitely put Ron all in because Ron never has an ace here. So they do that, and Ron's down to 6 big blinds. Life support. We may not make the second break, David Tuckman.
He's all in here. I think you get a fold, though. Jack 3 not going to double him up. Back at the 7.5 big blinds, but we may not. We'll see. All in, no call on that spot.
No call from the 5-4.
We're going to see this until we get the break, aren't we? And then come back. No, this could be it. This actually could be it right here. Yep, there it is. Ace Queen versus Jack 8. Nothing for either player so far. Still nothing. A Jack or an 8, or it's over. 3 of clubs on the river, and the Ace High is going to win it. And over bet has called game. They have won the tournament. Irish Ron finishing in second place. You win the final 2 bounties when you win the tournament. You get to keep your own. So $140 for overbet, and looks like $48.70. So a little bit more for overbet.
Yeah, and remember, overbet was basically the short stack, not too far from the end of this tournament, and then managed to claw their way back. Sasha bluffed off to them. They took all their chips, and 2 minutes later, we got a champion. Amazing. Fun final table.
Yeah, for sure. Overbet 13 has been at one of the final table this year. They finished third in the Daily Gems PKO Rumble. Today, they close the deal. They come into to the final table, 5th in chips. They exit in first. They will earn themselves, with the bounties and first place, over $8,000. Irish Ron, by the way, took home over $1,000 bounties and $5,300 for second place. So they win about $6,400. And there you have it. Overbet wins it all. And
let's give away some tickets, David Tuckman.
Let's do it. We've got the Wheel of Justice, and of course, you asked me a question. What was the question?
It was a little while ago because we had some poker action to pack in there. But the question was, how many songs have been sung at the Super Bowl halftime show across all the Super Bowls? What's your answer, and how did you work it out?
Well, I know this Super Bowl was Super Bowl 59, but I kind of thought that I kind of assumed, I said, that the Super Bowl music shows, the halftime shows, didn't really start till the early 80s. And I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking early 80s. So I did the math, and I added the years. And I know, and I thought, while they're not full songs, a lot of these artists will go up and do like compilations. So I figured about 8 songs per year. And I did the math and, came up with a number of 327 songs. Is that right?
327 songs is exactly the amount of songs that you think have been sung at halftime Super Bowl shows over the years. And
I was concerned.
Near 327 are our winners. Is it you? It's you if your name is George Gallen on YouTube.
Nice job, George.
328. 1 away. Player Quiller on Twitch. 2 away. George Gallen and Player Quiller. You are winners of our $109 ticket giveaway. We've now got the Poker Wheel of Justice. David, there is a complication.
What?
We've got a long time lag between the Twitch stream, and they have to identify themselves in the Twitch stream. So we're going to have to give them a little bit longer than usual to say hello. Okay?
That's fair.
Cool. If you haven't seen this before, it's the Poker Wheel of Justice. If you want your name up here, and you do, you need to redeem 4,000 Twitch points after the show before next week, and then your name will be on the wheel. We spin the wheel. It finds someone who's been good, and they win a $109 ticket. It's a huge prize just by putting your name on a wheel for a few thousand Twitch points.
It is a huge, it is absolutely a huge one. By the way, apparently the halftime shows were further back than I thought. Now, a lot of them were just like big bands and stuff like that.
Right.
But
when did they start singing?
It does go back a while. Let's do the Wheel of Justice. We'll talk about this next week.
/ never.
Never. Exactly.
Spin the wheel of poker justice, for cripe's sake.
Let's do it.
Have you been good this week? Are you a good person?
I missed my noisemaker.
Yeah. We need to get the
Nobody
siren
else.
back.
Chichello! Oh, they're here for sure. We'll have to wait
Chichello
10
must be
seconds.
here.
They're almost definitely here. Chichello, congratulations. As always, if you win a ticket, make sure you pay attention to your whispers so you can get your ticket from Lime Ricky. You have to connect with Lime Ricky, so figure it out. Chichello is almost definitely here. They're always here. We are on a lag, though.
I would say, yeah, they've won it before, for sure.
That's amazing. I feel like they win every third week. It's like
Let's see if they're here. Chichello, are you here?
The only
Show
person more
yourself.
successful than Chichello might be Sleepy the Old.
Yeah. I don't know how many times they've won the wheel, but they haven't identified themselves yet. I'm going to go into account. I'm watching the Twitch stream, so they have had it a little while. I'm going to go into the... Here, they're here. Chichello's here, David.
We knew they were there.
We knew they were there.
Congratulations, Chichello. Chichello's going to have like a dry spell where they don't win one for a month, and they're going to be like, what the F is this?
Yeah, Chip Taker says they won the wheel 2 weeks ago. That is pretty remarkable because despite what some of you guys think, it's totally random.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's like hitting like a 1 in 200 2 weeks in a row. That's crazy. Or, it's pretty nuts. Anyway, let's spin it again.
Oh my God, no noisemaker. Don't worry, we're going to spin it again and David's going to make noise now because I know some of you
ready?
miss David's noisemaker. Respin the wheel of justice.
Woo!
Is this it? Is this the best you can do?
Best I can do. That's all I have. I don't have anything.
Very disappointing. Oh, it's Cindy Bear 8.
Oh, they're here too. Look at this. No respin. It's a no respin Monday.
Cindy Bear 8. I don't think you've won the wheel before. Congratulations. Awesome stuff.
A no respin Magic Monday. Truly magical. And this is a fun day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Congratulations to Cindy Bear 8. Congratulations to Cello. Congratulations to everybody who's
hasn't identified themselves yet.
Yeah, but they haven't even seen it yet. We're on a lag. She's here. We know Cindy Bear's here.
Do we?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I'm watching the chat. The wheel
Yeah,
has
she's
stopped.
here.
This is
If
so
she's
funny
not
being
here,
on this.
I
It's so
will
funny
cut-
being on this lag. It's like we're doing next week's show.
I will cut my hair off. I will go bald if she's not here. Okay?
Okay.
She's here.
She still hasn't done it. She still hasn't said
Cindy
she's here.
Bear. I can't go bald.
She still hasn't said she's here.
Come on, Cindy.
Cindy
Cindy might be thinking,
Cindy, if you've popped out. Oh, this is bad.
She's here. She's definitely here. She was here like 5 seconds ago. This is ridiculous.
Look like she is.
Okay.
This
10.
is tragic. This is
9.
tragic.
8.
8.
7. 6.
6.
5.
5.
4.
4.
3. 2.
2.
Cindy.
Cindy, where are you?
1. Oh, gosh.
She's not here. The rules are the rules, I'm afraid. You must be in chat to win this, so we will have a respin. Respin the wheel of poker justice.
Do I actually have to go bald?
Oh, yeah, you have to go bald also. Tune in next
gosh.
week for David Tuckman's great big shave off.
Oh, this is terrible. Sleepy
Absolutely
the
terrible.
Old. Are you kidding me? Sleepy the Old is going to win this now?
Sleepy the Old, who has also never won the wheel, I don't believe.
This is ridiculous. It's really weird. I'm saying respin, and then they say it in the chat like a good minute later.
I know, it's incredible, this lag. I don't quite understand how this lag would happen, but it has happened.
It has.
So I apologize, guys. It's a bit more clunky because we're waiting for your lag so we can make sure that the person's here. Sleepy the Old, you were here earlier.
No, they're
remember,
here. They're
you must
here.
be here now.
If they're not here, I will go bald again twice. No, Sleepy the Old's here. There you go. Yippee!
Sleepy the Old's here.
Yippee! Congratulations, Sleepy the Old.
Is our final winner of the night. Lovely stuff.
I am sad for Cindy Bear. I mean, just one of our most loyal viewers here on Magic Monday.
The rules.
The rules, all the rules. Nothing we can do about it.
Cindy, we hope you win next week.
Yeah, congratulations to Cello. Congratulations to Sleepy the Old. Congratulations to all of you who have won. Remember, the Poker News Championship Festival, that begins in 6 days. That's on February 16th. The worst holiday in world history is going to be in 4 days. So happy V-Day to all of you who celebrate this terrible holiday. And for everybody at 888 Poker, I'm David Tuckman. That's Nick Welthall. Thanks, Lime. Thank you, Hayden. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Good night.